We're 5 games in. Great performance against Alabama. Disappointing in the way it ended. Texas Tech, a blown 2-touchdown lead in the fourth quarter. We saw what happened there, and then they explode on West Virginia and really manhandle the Mountaineers at home last week. So your thoughts about Texas through 5 games, what has been better than expected or not met expectations?
To be honest, we're kind of all over the board. You go to the Alabama game, we play phenomenal defense for most of the game, hold them to 20 points. Quinn Ewers looks phenomenal throwing the deep ball to Xavier Worthy and just making throws that most guys in college football can't make. The issue is then we go, Quinn Ewers gets hurt. We go on to Hudson Card, who then plays in the Texas Tech game. He plays pretty good, enough to win the game, but then the defense plays terrible. We have a team meeting, players only, and we go into West Virginia and destroy the Mountaineers. That game was not close. It was 35-7 in the fourth quarter. They came back a little, made it a little bit more respectable, 138-20. But the thing is, this team is just all up and down. You don't really know what you're going to get. Like if I'm just assuming we play our A game this week, we should beat Oklahoma by 2 touchdowns this week, in my opinion. But the problem is, I don't know if we're going to play our A game, and I don't know who our quarterback's going to be, just like Oklahoma doesn't know who their quarterback's going to be. Now, do I feel more confident in our quarterback situation? 100%. Hudson Card is coming off his best game ever as a college quarterback versus West Virginia. 21 of 27, over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. He looked really good. He did start to limp at the end of the game again, but if the ankle is 75-80%, we definitely have the edge in quarterback play, in my opinion, because Davis Bevel, I know I was sitting in there listening to Jason talk, did not look good in that game. He looked lost. He looked like it was too fast for him. And if this is a Quinn Ewers versus Dylan Gabriel matchup, I think we have a all-time type Red River rivalry. I think those guys go blow for blow with each other. But if you're telling me it's Hudson Card versus Davis Bevel, in my opinion, Texas should win that matchup pretty easily. But you never know, because this game is always crazy. It's always been a 1-score game, so you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, so I think from my perspective, just one quick question. I know you'd mentioned not really sure who is going to be the starting quarterback, honestly, for each side. So I think that's probably one of the biggest storylines coming into the game. What have you heard from your side? What do you think the chances are that Ewers it trots out there when the offense comes out for Texas?
Well, Sark has been teasing this, it seems like, after the week versus Alabama. Quinn Ewers was dressed the next week, but didn't play. Dressed again, traveled to Lubbock. Dressed again he said he could go tonight versus West Virginia, but and we were up at some point. So I was wondering, maybe you throw him in there for the last couple minutes to get him some reps, because I don't like throwing Quinn Ewers into the situation right off the bat. First Red River rivalry. He's only played one meaningful game, 4 quarters of football as a starting quarterback. I personally think he goes Hudson Card for that situation. I actually think Quinn Ewers will be healthy, but I think he goes Hudson Card. And the thing is, I discussed this on the postgame show last week. If Hudson Card were to win this game, we have a legitimate quarterback controversy, because Hudson Card has gotten better from last year. The 3 issues he had were the deep ball, his footwork, and his anticipation skills. His anticipation skills have gotten better. They're not great. His footwork is fine now. I don't see an issue with it. And then the deep ball is still there. So if he starts hitting the deep ball, you basically have a guy with a less strongman arm, but a guy that's more mobile. So it'd be interesting to see. By starting Hudson Card, and if he wins this game, I think you have a quarterback controversy. But I do think Hudson Card is going to be the starter in this game.
Yeah, no, I think that's interesting. And I think one of the things and I think most, including myself, most OU people are probably holding on to, is the fact that over the probably last 10 to 12 years in this game, the underdog has won the fair majority of these games. And I think that's probably the big, like I said, the big thing that Oklahoma fans are holding on to, because, me personally, because Oklahoma, with Dylan Gabriel going down, Eric Gray got hurt in that game. Marcus Major was already out, so Oklahoma could potentially be down to their 3rd string running back, who's a true freshman. And then they could be potentially down to either Davis Bevel or maybe Nick Evers comes in, and he's a true freshman again. So to your point about throwing a guy like that in this type of environment is really, really tough. So, and I think so. I guess my question here is from Oklahoma's perspective over the years. I think a lot of times Oklahoma came into this game very, especially when they were a sizable favorite. I know Mac Brown's last team upset Oklahoma in this game. Charlie Strong had a team that upset Oklahoma when Oklahoma was a pretty significant favorite. So I think Oklahoma came in very overconfident. Do you think there's maybe a level of overconfidence that Texas has going into this game, watching the film, particularly with Oklahoma against Kansas State and then TCU this last week?
I don't, only because we didn't beat Alabama. If we were to have beaten Alabama, I think that would have put our confidence. I don't know how we would have handled that, to be honest with you. And we didn't handle it well, even with the loss. Like, we came back versus Texas Tech and played like we just came out flat. And then you see players only meeting and we come out hot versus West Virginia. So I don't think there's going to be overconfidence. And if there is, that shouldn't, I mean, then we're just lost as a program at this point. Steve Sarkisian's not going to work out if that's the case, because you're 3-2. You lost to Texas Tech. You lost to nail biter Alabama. There should be no overconfidence, especially in a game. A game like this where it can go either way. Like you said, you guys have been favored many times before, and we will pull off an upset. The Charlie Strong one comes to mind. That Charlie Strong team was terrible. We beat a pretty good Oklahoma team. So this game doesn't it's its own entity. Whatever happened outside of the other 9 games, it doesn't matter to me. This game's its own thing. That's why it's so fun to watch, because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, the game last year was insane. And that's another thing too. The way what happened last year, I think those players, most of those guys are back, especially on offense. Remember that, and they don't want to face that again. They don't want to have that feeling again. So I think it's going to be a good game no matter what. I think Oklahoma has a chance to win this game, like I said. Now, again, if we were to both play our best games with the players we have on the field, I think Texas wins this game by 2 touchdowns. But I don't know if that's possible, because I haven't seen Texas strand together 2 to 3 good games in a row in a long time.